defense. You need to walk away with probably 4 of those 6 rounds to feel confident as you swap sides. Some teams unable to do that. And I mean, there are certain maps that are affected very much by these operator bans, but Villa doesn't tend to be one of them. And Penta banning out Montaigne, an operator that we know G2 runs quite a bit. That's a sensible ban, if any.
Montaigne definitely a powerful operator on this map, especially. Ying also going to be banned out, this time by G2. Now, that also a targeted ban against Hungary specifically, of course, and we're not surprised by that at all. It is nice to see a nice clean ban phase as well. None of the typical attackers banned out. Maestro will be gone, and speaking of typical, this time on defense, he does not surprise anybody.
I mean, if you think that Maestro is not an operator that can completely change games, look no further than the matchup we just had between Penta and Space Station. Redeemer, long known as one of the only Echo players consistently in Pro League. This was even before we saw those changes to Echo come into play that made him so much stronger. But with Maestro coming in, Redeemer seemed like a whole different beast. Penta's ability to ban Maestro and remove him from play, I think weakened the anchor play of SSG overall, and I think that's because of how pivotal an operator Maestro is, not necessarily just so much about how he plays it. So Maestro and Echo being gone will free up that Mira pick, and these 2 operators on defense tended to be the 2 most banned operators as well.
Stop it, enemy. No, stop it. Oh, no.
Mother of God.
All right, so we talked about it in the pre-match, and I guess that really solidifies the theory. Penta's playing this just to play it. They've already got what they want out of this tournament.
It's the Lord, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, sorry, I meant to say that since they brought Tachanka, they're trying really hard to win. That's what I meant to say.
I believe they call that POG.
Yeah.
That's what the kids would say.
Is it? How old are you, Parker?
28. Michael, you didn't know what day Christmas was on.
Yeah.
10 seconds left.
So, hey, I guessed right. I said 25th, and you...
5 seconds left.
Yes, 25th. It was the 25th. I just needed a confirmation.
Attackers are moving out to
You
locate a
gotta
bomb and defuse.
give me heck for that all day?
No.
Okay.
Michael, you can say hell on a broadcast.
Well, I was actually gonna say something else, so I went,
Don't say swears.
I went real tame with that one.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I just was trying to, be nice and safe.
Now, if you look at G2's lineup here, this is actually a composition that they've been running in a number of scrims over the last couple days. Finka and Blitz. Trying something a little bit different. Pangu can't be on the Montaigne, so you're going to put him on the smaller shield of Blitz.
Yeah, so it would be a Montaigne. I'm pretty sure if they had it available to them, and that's probably why we saw the Monty ban from Penta. Not, again, really that surprising. But the beauty of, hey, you ban Monty, well, okay, we still have a shield at our disposal. And Cantor Ketty gonna get the first kill for G2 onto Ravon. I actually, I like this Tachanka setup here from enemy. I think it's nice. We could also destroy the Mira window at any moment, and...
This might be the first time anybody's ever complimented a Tachanka pick.
No, I'm not the pick itself. Parker, I wasn't complimenting the pick. I was complimenting the positioning.
Second Finka boost is going to allow Pangu to push all the way up. You can hear the LMG that's being run by Finka. It's a pistol from Fabian, running a pistol on Hibana. Not the bearing. All right.
I still think the pistol's better.
Pistol's out altogether. A number of teams actually running the bearing without a sight on it because they feel it's easier to aim with the iron sight.
Really?
Very interesting. Yeah, I don't particularly like them. But there's Fabian. He'll take out the Type 89, eliminates enemy. And the Lord will have nothing. Panics there on the flank along with Hungry will be 2 of the off-site players dropping Gogan. Fabian, but there's Pangu completely blinding Hungry and then finishing him off with a pistol. Panics trying to keep it in tight. Can't do it. Canto Ricchetти on that LMG will give G2 round number 1.
G2 definitely taking that round a little bit more seriously. I really like the way that they've worked the Finka and Blitz into their strategy. It is ruthlessly efficient and something that it seems their opponents, Penta, are incapable of dealing with. Also, Tachanka doesn't exactly help your odds. So hopefully that won't be what Penta decide to bring every single round. Just the one. Aviator, the next bomb site after Trophy was unsuccessful. Something that Penta have been doing consistently is that if they make a mistake, they fail to defend one bomb site, they will go to another bomb site. They're not one to
Attackers need
repeat
to
their
locate
mistakes.
and defuse bombs.
This is a much more standard setup here that I think we'll see from Penta. G2 is going to bring basically the same thing, except they're going to have a glass this time around. So G2 is bringing the pain with the Finka Blitz and the glass. Fun operators to deal with when all put together.
Oh yeah, you betcha. That is definitely a super fun lineup from EG. Penta, on the other hand, pretty standard. Not much to say. They got the 2 German operators on the defense. As per usual, you need Jaeger in this meta, because he's the only defender who really directly counters throwables,
Attackers
not
must
projectiles,
locate and defuse
as
the
we
bomb.
like to mention.
Words matter.
Yes, they do.
Listen, if I say something that's silly, I want to be corrected. I feel like I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Now people are gonna backtrack all of the VODs.
Somebody's gonna spend hours.
I'm just gonna compile a PDF and gonna send it to you. These are all of the times.
I have a document that is twice as long as the Iliad.
where you
Please review
grammatically
your
incorrect.
mistakes. Yeah.
All right, so a pretty swift clear as per usual from G2 as they start moving into statuary and trophy. They've already established full control with less than a minute transpired. Again, the efficiency, the name of the game here for G2, very impressive. Not exactly a surprise, but still impressive. Fabian gonna get the first kill onto Hungary, start things off. The smoke of all operators to be dispatched early on.
That's a tough loss, and Hungary can now IGL from the bench for 2 minutes. And Pengu just doing the work of a Twitch drone and or a Thatcher EMP here as he sits under 90, looking all the way down classical hallway towards the door to games in the bar. Sir Boss, knowing that he can play this mirror window in such a way that he can peek through the door, but there's going to be one other member of Penta watching all the way down the long hallway. Being Finka boosted, Pengu looking through the newly opened hole in the wall towards Vault. He'll take out a goo mine, and that will force Revan to have to backtrack before getting absolutely slaughtered by the LMG of Kanto Raketti, increasing G2's lead and forcing Penta back further into sight.
It's still difficult. Why isn't Pengu on Penta? From
Please,
the
my
hallway,
boss, why did you say that out loud?
Goga's gonna get taken down by enemy. Janos will refrag it onto enemy. Panics and Sir Boss, the last 2 alive, and they will be fighting back as Fabian goes down. Pengu's still the driving force of this assault, and he will go in for a defuse plant. There is a defender in study, but he will be felled by Janos, and it's just Sir Boss in the 1 versus 3. He does have a C4 in hand, but the defuser's already been planted, and his position is well known to his opponent. The ADSing Pengu will secure the final kill, and G2 take 2 in a row. I'm sorry, I didn't actually hear you. What did you say? You were making fun of me? Is that what you're doing?
I said, why would you say that out loud?
Oh, because it's a bit of a meme.
Do you know what this probably did to chat?
Yes, that was the intention. You get them riled up. It's just one of those matches, Parker. It's one of those matches. What do you want from me?
I was told that this might look like a show match ahead of time.
Oh yeah, no, this is a.
It's going to be both these teams showing off, and so far it has.
No. Listen, guys, this is a final. The last match wasn't a final. This is the final. I don't know if Parker agrees with that.
Clash being brought out here from Penta. We're going to have shields on both sides of the board.
We've talked about this a couple times before. Clash is not a very good operator right now.
She is not in as good of a place as she was prior to her changes.
Yeah, not many people will play her, and the reason being is that she doesn't really do much other than drone for your defense. But the problem is she's also very exposed to a lot of the attackers like Zofia, who happens to not be getting played right now. One thing I will say though is Blitz is vastly superior in the shield game. If we're talking about which shield we would rather have in a one-on-one, Blitz by far. The reason being, of course, is that he's going to be able to get up close and melee the shield away from Hungary. And there's not really much that the Clash can do about it. Of course, the zapping will slow it down, but ultimately it's going to definitely be an advantageous situation for G2.
I would suspect. I mean, I'm not a developer. I don't balance operators. Obviously, I have opinions. But I would imagine that Clash is probably one of the hardest operators in the game to balance.
Yeah.
So that you don't end up in a position where she is too strong. And I think a lot of teams realized that she was too strong last time around. I agree with a lot of the changes that were made. It's just unfortunate to see her pushed so far out. And I'm also the kind of person that believes that there's nothing wrong with operators not being must picks. I like situational operators quite a bit. I think they can add a nice flair to certain sites. It'd be good to have Clash inhabit that role at some point, but right now we've just seen her pick rate absolutely fall off a cliff. So it'll be interesting to see what Hungry can do. And he's no stranger to shields. A lot of times you see Penta run him on Montaigne on attack. So it's definitely something that they have at their disposal should need be. But of course, Montaigne is banned in this matchup. So we won't be seeing him until at least map number 2.
Goga missing some important shots there. Not able to get the kill on the droning opponent above him. Free kills. Of course, not getting them, not a huge deal. You could still keep the momentum in your favor. Oh, Panic's struggling there to not shoot his teammate. That was a little scary there. Thought it was going to be an advantage early on for G2. Speaking of though, this is actually the slowest round we've seen from the attackers thus far in this match. Yano's gonna get the first pick though. Panics goes down from below. G2 will still establish the lead in the initial engagements.
Kanto Raketti on the deepest flank watch of 2018 as a C4 sails over top of Pengu. Tries to engage with one, he gets the shield away! Oh! And he will smite Hungry into the afterlife. The final minute, outstanding play, and all of that enabled by the Finka boost being given to him. And it'll be Goga and Jonas doing cleanup work. They'll stitch 3 together in this quilt of victory for G2 as they look towards finishing the set over the next 2 maps.
Quilt of victory?
Shut up. Sometimes I say things that make no sense.
You know, I have been to so many quilting conventions. Yes, those are a thing.
You said your mother... Yeah.
She brought me to a bunch of them.
She likes quilting.
It's her business, you know, and...
Like literally her business?
Yeah,
like we shouldn't be talking about, or she makes money off of it?
No, I mean, like, that's her job. Like, she runs a fabric distributor, so... Anyway, moving on. I've been to a lot of quilting conventions, and I did not know that you were a 60-year-old lady. That's new information for me, Parker. How's that for dry humor? You're gonna tweet stuff about me, Parker? I hit back.
Oh my gosh. I did look in the mirror this morning and was like, wow, I don't look a day under 59.
Oh gosh. All right, so G2 absolutely dominant in this match so far. Penta seriously struggling to not only get rounds, but kills as well, as it's just been pretty one-sided. A lot of it stemming from Pengu, his excellent blitz play. Seriously, I mean, it's actually really impressive how well Pengu has been playing blitz. A lot of that, of course, also aided by Kanto Raketti's Finka boost. I don't think the Montaigne ban is really hurting G2 right now, Parker.
No, I mean, they're switching on to that blitz as was noted. Also, Goga taking out the one mirror window of Panics. They move Panics onto a hard anchor position. That's interesting. So they've switched that one off. And then move Enemy onto more of that flex roam roll with Revan there to assist him. There's flexibility on this Penta roster, so that's not really a strange thing to see. Hungry and Panics are both incredibly capable players who can play entry. They can roam, they can assist, they can support, flex, etc. You know, but Panics on Mira, be able to give them a bit more support on site. Because let's be honest, the roaming play here of Penta has been not the greatest, especially when you got a blitz charging you down on that freight train of pain, especially when assisted by that Finka boost. And as I mentioned before, for those that don't know, a Finka boost that went off allows Pengu to ADS much faster, but no speed is going to stop that one as you take a bullet to the head from Enemy. Celebratory wiggle as Enemy continues to flirt with disaster around this doorway. Knows he has Kanto Raketti, he will lose that fight. Kanto walking away with enough HP that an Adrenal Surge will give him almost 100%. And there you go. The 25 extra bullets need to be eaten through, but Kanto missing a lot of shots. Ooh. Uncharacteristic of him. Fabian able to finish one off. Kanto taken down, so essentially both teams will trade. Also leave Goga in an engagement with Sir Boss, and right now G2 very fast into the building, leaving just Hungry and Panic's left. Hungry down now to Goga. Plant successfully going off from G2. Panic's will try the comeback. It's a 2v1, it's winnable. He's a slow mirror, he's getting picked up, and he got skeleton keyed to death. That's a trade, and we're not even gonna get to see anything because Fabian was non-factor in that final kill as they traded off. 4-0.
4 in a row as well, so good job to G2, though can't say it's terribly surprising. You can see that G2 and Penta both are actually in high spirits. I mean, honestly, going into this match, they got to be feeling good no matter what the end result is. Now, one big thing there in that last round was that Pengu did get shut down. The Blitz was eliminated pretty early on by the Roamers, so good job to, I believe it was Enemy who got that kill. But Penta still could not turn it into a win, no matter how hard Panic's tried in that end. It's gonna be Kitchen again, second time in a row. And, well, I mean, it was definitely the closest bomb site Penta came to a victory on Villa.
Yeah.
So, okay, I guess maybe maybe G2 is going for that 7-0. Would it be the first 7-0? Have we seen one yet? No, that's right, because of the 14-0 that we saw. No.
We technically didn't see it.
It was off stream.
Everybody's favorite team, Mini Golf Buta. And I believe that Space Station said that they played the villains in that one. They won 14-0. It was off stream, but I don't think we've seen a 7-0 on broadcast, at least not from my notes here.
5 seconds left.
Be the first one that would be televised.
Yeah, so that would be something if G2 managed to net it, but Penta's still a formidable team, and could get a few rounds, maybe even bring this back into a win. It's certainly possible. You can't count out Penta, and maybe we're having a little bit of fun in that first round, but should they choose to turn up, I'm sure they can bring this back.
I don't know if you heard it, but another mirror window got popped, so Goga has done his job on at least one of the two occasions, because there's 2 mirror windows, and of course, cue the Jaws theme as there goes the second, and Panics will, almost in disbelief as he runs as if he could pick up that pane of glass and put it back in, but not quick enough. A double kill from Sir Boss on the Pengu and Fabian. As playing through that newly ejected mirror window proves to be too much for G2 to handle, and after his double kill, Sir Boss will head for the hills and retreat back towards site down below.
Enemy on the deep roam. And he's going to be nowhere near the action. The last 3 G2 players all the way on the other side of the map. And enemy's just waiting to come back to site when his teammates make the call. All of that action that happened was upstairs. And the bomb site is actually below in the kitchen. So G2 have a lot of work ahead of them if they want to bring this back, not only in control, but also in frags, as you see them at such a disadvantage. Jonas using that skeleton key, trying to find the angle on somebody, anybody from above. Goga will get the first kill for his team. Hungry goes down. Some good fragging from the Twitch, and he not only is playing the support operator, opening up those mirror windows, but he can frag out when necessary.
Just patience here on the side of Penta as they have Hungry is the only one down. They just need to really wait for G2. You hear the LMG of the Finca deploying a ton of bullets. Still 51 left. Kanto, a beautiful snap on the Panics as he still just lords over top of the site. He has the broken wall at his advantage, but there's nobody really there. Penta consolidating a little bit more. Still enemy on the roam, though. He'll have to get back pretty quickly as Sir Boss gets felled and Revan on site doing his work, but they'll wait patiently for the return of the Bandit.
And here he comes. Perfect timing potentially as he's right behind Finca. Kanto goes down, and it's just a 1 bullet's worth of HP on us in a 1 versus 2. He eats a Legion Trap, which makes his life even more difficult. His position given away, and 2 barrels in a crossfire. There's very little that can weed him out of this situation. The C4 lands, and Penta take their very first round.
Explosive end there, and you really have to credit Sir Boss on that one, as his big opening 2K, not just halting G2's entry into Master, but giving them a massive amount of breathing room by taking out the lone hard breacher and the annoyance of Pengu's operator selection at least so far through this map, and he's not going to give up the blitz anytime soon. Interestingly enough, a word that tends to match G2's playstyle so far through 5 rounds.
So, Aviator as the next and final bomb site at Penta will get to defend in the first half. If we get to overtime, of course, they could defend again. But for now, it's their third attempt at this bomb site. And they have not been successful here once. Last 2 times, they were destroyed by G2. And it was pretty dominant. A lot of it had to do with Pengu's blitz play. Something that Penta has been struggling with, especially on this bomb site. So we'll see if they can change that. You need to have certain tools to deal with shields like that, especially when they're juiced up by the Finka. Things like the Ella can help a lot, but it's not being brought by Penta. I believe they did play Ella once or twice, but that also wasn't working. They brought the Finka, I'm sure, in an attempt to counter the blitz, but as stated, Finka is not a suitable counter to a blitz. And, I mean...
Counters Monty, though.
Yeah, in a bit, yeah.
Well, it knocks his shield down, which is the most important part, right? And I mean, if you've seen the way that Pengu plays the Monty, he's in deployed shield for most of his time.
But it really doesn't do a thing against the blitz. Yeah, and
yeah.
I mean, especially considering her entire shield is glass or whatever kind of bulletproof substance that is. It is see-through, so that's the most important thing. So it's not blocking the flashes at all.
You're talking about Clash?
Yeah.
I was talking about Ella.
What? You were talking about Ella?
You said Ella. You said Guzmán mines.
I said Guzmán mines, and then I said...
Clash doesn't have Guzmán mines.
I was talking about both of them, dude. I was talking about counters to the shield play and what Penta were trying to bring out. They tried both of them. Neither of them worked. And so now what are they going to do? That was the storyline I was trying to build up. What?
I was talking about the Guzmán mines.
Okay,
anyway.
fine, whatever. We're on a different page.
Best player in the world is dead.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I didn't even notice.
Enemy very low on health. I believe it was Enemy who was playing Ella that they brought out once. They brought out Clash, the operator you were talking about, once. It didn't really work out. You also saw Panics almost killed Clash that one time.
Yeah.
So Jonas from below is the Kanto Raketti also helping out. He survives a C4. Revan takes out Jonas, the Buck, opening up the hole in the ground, but it will end up working against him. So G2 finds themselves in a 2-member deficit. Still trying to figure out exactly what's going on down below. This area in the basement of Villa, so underutilized by teams, but a good opportunity to rotate, providing there's no flank watch, no drones, and no claymores. It's going to be Enemy trying to get back to site. As Pengu just inches away from the Aviator door, he's going to use a Finka boost, and oh, Kanto losing a lot of HP there. Now, if you don't know that when a Toxic Babe goes down, anybody who's affected by the Adrenal Surge take increased damage. It's Kanto now as the final surge goes off. He's got the soft wall and a long angle that will go all the way into the vault. But there's nobody who's going to bother to do it.
It's slow push here from the attackers. They know they're at the disadvantage. Pengu gonna bring out a Legion Trap, and that will cost him his life. Another one for Penta, and in the final as well, G2 very quickly, one after another, taken down, and that's 2 rounds in a row for Penta. The final 2 rounds of their first half. We'll see a transition now as G2 go to defense.
Keep in mind, defense is where you want to win.
Yeah.
Defense is where you're expected to win. Well, that's a problem if you don't end up walking away with the rounds that you need. And when you look at that, G2 took 4 of the 6 rounds on attack. Impressive. But I mean, we also just watched the last semifinal with Space Station versus Penta, where on Clubhouse, you're supposed to win your defenses, and Space Station won the majority of their attacking rounds and ended up shooting it off to a 3rd map because of that. So sometimes it doesn't really matter necessarily, as long as you can get the number of rounds needed for the win. So we'll switch sides here. See an Ashe coming out. Lots of fragging potential on Penta's side of things. Look at that. Almost no utility. They're not going to bring a hard breacher at all. They're going to bring lots of disruption. They're going to bring a set of smokes. They got some of the best guns on attack as well, all being used in conjunction. The closest that they'll get to a full-blown hard breach is going to be that Maverick. But as we've stated many, many times, that's not really how he's used.
Yeah, Maverick is an interesting operator, one that is often banned on Villa, and he's usually just used to try and frag your opponent, or as a Thatcher, as a glorified Thatcher, a different kind of Thatcher, as you could specifically counter band tricking or mute juggling, which is in of itself rare, but it is probably his strongest use, right next to, again, just opening up odd angles. Because of the potential for those odd angles on Villa, again, often banned here, but not the case in this map and match. Enemy will be bringing him and see what kind of damage he can do, though the way that G2 plays, I don't think it's easily countered by a Maverick, to be completely honest. They've always been known for playing an extensive roam, and one that is hard to actually clamp down on.
Things have returned to normal here, though, after a bit of tomfoolery to start things off. Jonas will get lead-off kill. He's 45 seconds into the round as he punishes Panic, so no successful entry. The hesitation of the Ashe ends up being his undoing, and it allows the Pulse to clean up Master and take control of that part of the map yet again. He's also got Fabian not too far off, playing inside of Astro. In fact, there's 3 bodies up top now, with Kanto not more than a few steps from Jonas. The Doc with that ACOG and operator that Kanto loves playing very much. There's going to be a push up those stairs inside of Astronomy towards Fabian's side of things. In fact, could be a good opportunity for a trade here if the Jackal and Sophia peek at the same time. Fabian's position given away by a Jackal track. He sees the Jackal, but puzzlingly not a headshot. But that's why Kanto is there along with Jonas. So if this is a push from the Sophia, Sir Boss could find himself being destroyed by the 3 guns of G2.
Ravon will get the first kill for his team, though. Gogo goes down, and another one for Ravon. He's into bar and the site. The defuse plant going down, the Claymore on top of it. Fabian will eliminate the final roam clear of Zerbas. The C4 denies the defuse plant, though. Enemy down on the floor. Ravon refrags it. That's 3 for him in the round. He's going for a 4th. Cancer Aketi behind the vault door in a good position to delay, but he's being encroached upon, and Ravon should get an easy kill here. And yes, indeed, he does. 4 total, and now a 1 versus 1. Fabian aware of where the Twitch is playing, and the defuse play going down. No, it's the Claymore from Ravon! Penta wins the round, and an ace for the Twitch.
I hate saying what just happened, because we actually got to see every single thing that happened there. But what just happened?
The best player in the world stepped on a Claymore, and he died. And 1 versus 1, great job there to Ravon, waltzing into sight and tearing apart G2. You don't see that every day. Usually G2 is pretty diligent, but not there.
No, that was sloppiness, and I know you don't look down.
Attackers need to
I mean,
locate
we
and
saw the
defuse
teams
bomb.
here not really bringing utility. I was surprised to see a Claymore, because that doesn't really seem like the kind of thing that these teams would bring to. But hey, I mean, maybe at some point there's been a sense of competition that's been imbued in Penta. They have now closed this gap, and G2, who are taking things very interestingly on attack, have to be a bit better on defense. This is now 3 unanswered rounds from Penta.
Good job to put 3 in a row. 1 more will answer back to G2's 4 in a row. I'm pretty close to that result. It didn't look like Penta was going to win that round. We got to be honest. Ravon really came out with
5 seconds to
a
insertion.
miracle for his team, and can't expect to rely on those
Attacker's
for
objective is to locate a bomb
every
and defuse
single
it.
round. Although it was also the first defense for G2, which is worth noting. Might see a different result moving forward. They will be going to the same side, Aviator. So G2 not keen on changing things up.
It's a site that is easy to defend. A lot of teams will go down to that kitchen or possibly even try across and trophy, but I mean, you might as well aim here for Aviator. Especially with a Mira available, Aviator tends to be the site that you will see teams go to first, because she makes that corner wall that makes the 90-degree angle in towards the study. Oh, so powerful. Now, all these off-site players of G2 downstairs trying to waste as much time as possible have done a good job in the first 45 seconds. Jonas almost finds himself getting felled to the ash, but it will be Fabian who rotates and baits out Panics. I don't know if that was intended for G2, but if it was, an excellent call to reposition Fabian and be able to get the kill on the entry from Penta in Kitchen.
It's a great job indeed to get that early frag. That's the second time in a row we've seen Panics on Ash, entering
Attackers
the building
have
and
located a
dying to one of the roamers from G2. Seems to be something that Penta seriously struggles with, or at least Panic specifically. Now the anchors were the problem for G2 in the last round. Hopefully for them, it won't be the issue this time around. You can see that G2 has a lot of roamers, 3 in fact, leaving only 2 people on the bomb site. Hungry, playing Jackal, the perfect operator to hunt down these roamers, but he's just waiting, expecting a rotation.
User has been
Oh no! No!
It's a bunch of controllers disconnected there on behalf of Penta.
Yeah, enemy will nade himself, and all right, 2-man advantage G2. Ravon, can he do it again? Is the question that his team seems to be posing. That is not what you want to hear as the Twitch. He's already lost 50 HP, and he's failing to win these fights, peeking into the site. Goga playing a really odd angle will get the advantage and win that fight, shutting down the potential that Ravon has shown time again.
Upstairs, that's a hard angle for Hungry to hit as he looks all the way up through those arches. He's got not a lot of time to work with here. There's only a 30-second buffer between him and the end of the round. He's gonna have Hungry assisting him, but immediately traded off. Jonas avenges Pengu. Then Fabian, who got kill number 1, will also get kill number 5. And G2, who didn't lose the lead, but will once again put another win in their column in their first on defense, and also lock the Aviator site for 2 more rounds. We'll go somewhere else.
Where, though, is the question, I'm sure. Probably going to be Trophy, because that's often the secondary site on this map. There you go. So that last round, the roam clear from Penta. I don't want to say it was non-existent, because it did exist. It just wasn't very good. They had Panics pushing in downstairs as Ash, and once again, he was eliminated quite easily by one of the G2 roamers. The Jackal played almost no role at all. It seemed like Penta got a little distracted by the roamers. And the anchor push that we saw from Ravon did not bear the same fruit that it did in the previous round. So a nice try from Penta, but they got a little distracted, and I think they needed to consolidate their efforts and either 5-man push the site or 5-man clear the roams. But pick one instead of splitting your efforts between the 2. Now, Trophy, and 1 round away from match point for G2, as Penta will be bringing out the Glaz, an operator that is often banned, especially after Lion saw his permaban, or teams are given the option to ban out operators like Glaz, but instead of banning Glaz, G2 decided to get rid of Ying. I think a sensible ban against Hungry, but it does leave Panic able to play the Russian smoke operator.
Because I think 1 round for G2, I think Goga played the Glaz once or twice, if I remember, but that was really it for them. It's a good map for Glaz, though. Lots of destructibility. You can hold down so many sight lines, especially as you find that a lot of defenders will open up a lot of the exterior walls around the sites, allowing you to essentially expand your view when playing inside a site. It also acts as a bit of a warning to the attackers that you can't really just waltz in and engage with those walls open, because there's usually people watching and anticipating that you'll do that, almost as if it's a bait and switch. Of course, Glaz can take a lot of advantage of that, because he can see you most of the times, even if a tiny portion of you is showing, because of his thermal vision, as it's called. And of course, he's the ability to smoke it off and push without you being able to do much to stop him. With Maestro banned, the only thing that can see through that smoke is, of course, the bulletproof camera, which, looking at G2's lineup, they have 1 in the hands of Kanto, as he usually tends to run it on the dock.
Pengu, laying in the main hallway, downstairs. Far from the site, but he's got that C4, so at any moment he could come back and deny a defuse plant. You have moments, though. I mean, we're getting pretty deep into the round, and Penta hasn't done much other than lose Raban to Kanto Raketti on a deep roam downstairs. 3 roamers downstairs, in fact. Pengu and Kanto, though, going to start working their way back. C4 from Jonas will take down enemy. The Glass still alive through the smoke, doing some damage, but he will eat even more in response. Pengu will be downed. On the floor, he's still salvageable. Kanto Raketti playing Doc, the perfect operator to save this player, and he will do just that as Pengu gets back into the fray. Continue to fight against Panics, who is encroaching on the site. Only 1 smoke possible left for that Glaz. No, in fact, he has none, so this is gonna make his push even more difficult. He's stuck on an island between a mirror window and an open doorway, and it's gonna be the doorway that will be his demise. Pengu pushes out and gets that kill. Hungry, able to eliminate Kanto Raketti, though. It's not over yet for Penta. They got 2 very healthy attackers left.
Still a smoke on the Jackal, though, if they really wanted to use it. I think Hungry's expended it at some point. He had one earlier on. Oh, a big wide peek from Goga as Hungry looks the wrong way, and Sir Boss's location is known. Claymore, which did so well for them before, will be placed under the window, but now it's just going to be full court press as it will find its target. Jonas jumps out and gets blown to pieces. It's the shrapnel of that Claymore. It's absolutely fatal, but just out of time. Fabian's waiting as T5 will down. The Gumine will finish off that Zofia as G2 will now move to match point after successful defense of trophy and statuary. Likely prompting a defense downstairs of the kitchen, as that's the only other site open alongside the library and living room, which tends to see very limited play amongst teams, but I mean, you can never really count it out for G2 because they tend to play things that a lot of others wouldn't. But no, there you go. It's going to be kitchen. This will be pretty ordinary here for them.
Definitely a standard bomb site. First time that G2 will be going to this, if I'm not mistaken. And let's see quite a lot from Penta, though. Now, Aviator and Trophy being successful for G2, they have to be feeling comfortable going on to this 3rd bomb site, and overall they have been pretty dominant in this match. A lot of the rounds that they've lost have been, I think, more due to them making mistakes than anything else. I mean, the clutch from Raban was definitely all him, but at the same time, Fabian walked into a Claymore. Anyway, all that said, the point I'm trying to get at here is that G2 have looked pretty dominant on Villa, and while they haven't been able to get that 7-0 that I'm sure they were gunning for, following the 6-0 that they suffered at the hands of Penta last time. I mean, even if they get the win, I'm sure they're feeling very good. And they only need the 1 round to do it over these next few. So
5 seconds
see if they're capable. And I'm sure, as you all know, they certainly are.
It's a mix of operators that G2 uses an awful lot, and the biggest thing that they use it for is control and denial of entry. So you look at the mute, obviously the way that different teams play it. Did you just me?
No.
What is going on for Penta?
Yeah, I was about to say this might be a rush, is what the thought process was, but it's in fact not. They're just all spawning at the same plot. I thought they might be doing, you know, that kitchen rush that you could do from the stairs, come up through the stairs, go into the storage room. I thought they might have been trying to pull that off.
Panic's taking good use of the 3-speed of Ash by crouch walking across the top of the roof.
They can't hear me, guys. I'm crouch walking.
I am completely silent. He's like a Prius going under 10 miles per hour, just completely silent. Kanto, though, will find at least 2 of the 5 members of Penta who all started together. And the ACOG just rips right through them. And whether he's used a stim pistol on himself or not, there's very little damage that's been done to him. So, no, I was going to say, so the way that G2 usually plays this is to deny and control entry. So you've got the mute jammers. G2 uses mute a little bit differently than a lot of other teams. They use mute in a lot of ways to enable roam plays rather than keeping it on site. There's a lot of different usage you can use. I mean, Goga now getting a kill onto Panics as I just go through this, of course. Speaking of deny entry, he had his little device active, and of course, you see him getting droned in, and the drone goes right past the Vigil, but the member of Penta was just a little bit too close to that drone and wasn't able to relay that information. And well, you can't see Vigil with your drone, but you can definitely see him with your eyes.
I gotta say, every single time, it's honestly getting a little sad right now. Every time we see Panics playing Ashe and trying to push into the building,
He just dies immediately.
He just dies immediately. Oh no, a run out from Pengu. These people, they have families. You gotta stop it, G2. Absolute shutout, and it's just one attacker left, enemy.
I just want to explain how G2 uses this strat, okay? And I don't think I'm going to get the chance to do that, as now enemy is under fire. C4 blows up at his
Bomb
feet.
located by attackers.
Use the sledgehammer to open up that small bit of the floor / ceiling. Is Pengu going to be playing underneath that? Dropping down a frag grenade. It's going to go off nowhere near anybody whatsoever.
But given that this round is pretty close to its conclusion, would you like to finish your thought?
I'll get to it when we're in the intermission.
Okay, that's fair.
If G2 pulls this one off, and enemy right now against Fabian, you got a sledge, you can run an SMG-11 on that, but we're gonna run the pistol instead, and it'll be Pengu